I don't know what this is. I don't know what we're doing. I'm just doing. So come along for the ride. Before we get into this, whatever this is, I figured I would do my first episode on introducing myself so you kind of get to know who I am before you kind of hear me talking about my opinions and thoughts on things. I want you to kind of get an understanding of, you know, who I am, what I like, what I do, where I've been, where I come from, the whole spiel. So let's get started. So, okay, I made myself little visuals to look at. So if it sounds like I'm reading something, it's because I am. But let's see. Let's start at the very beginning. I was born. Let's see. Back in the beginning, back at the dawn of time for me. I was born in 2001. I know. What does that make me? Gen Z, I think. I'm like 99% sure that makes me Gen Z. I lived in one home until I was around 11 or 12. I was also born on a Wednesday, by the way. I don't know if you know the nursery rhyme. I don't know the beginning of it. Monday's child is full of something. Tuesday's child is, I don't know. Wednesday's child is full of woe, is my day. So I kind of took that one to heart. I was the kind of child to be outside all day. We lived in a double wide on like 2 acres of land. And right behind us was our cousins. We had three cousins that lived right behind us and our aunt and uncle. So we always would play with them outside. We had tire swings. We were like country children. Uh, we had rope swings in the tree in the front yard. Um, our dad hung up like rope like swings, like a rope swing that was just a rope, and then he hung up two swings, I think, that were like swings, like he had wooden planks and he made swings, and then he also made a tire swing, like a literal tire swing. And I'm so thankful he did that for us because I have a lot of good memories with the tire swings in that tree. And actually, I drove past that house recently because I lived out in the country, so I haven't seen that house in a while. And so I drove out there, I want to say like months ago, and that tree is actually chopped down now, and it makes me very, very sad. It was a good tree. It's been there for a long time. But, anyways, moving on. We also played in our neighbor's backyard. um, and that might not sound all that bad, but our neighbor was an older woman. There was an older couple, and then it was just the lady because her husband passed, unfortunately. What I don't think we knew or understood for the longest time was that her husband was buried in her backyard. He was buried on her property, so like we were playing probably yards away from his grave, which okay. I feel like I either didn't know that or like I knew it but just didn't understand the gravity of that. And of course, she didn't appreciate us playing in her backyard. She had an apple tree in her backyard, I think, or some kind, like a crab apple tree or something. They weren't actual apples, they were really, really tiny apple looking things. So I think she had like a crab apple tree in her backyard, and we would always play underneath that. And we were, very imaginative kids. So we would role play a lot of the time. We would role play like cowboys and Indians, or we like when Avatar came out. Avatar was really cool, and we would role play Avatar a lot. We would do like imaginary characters and like situations, and just it's fun. It was a lot of fun, and I feel like that's the biggest part of my childhood was like giving me that sort of outside time and connection with other kids my age. Also, funny story. I don't even remember what age I was when this happened. Um, I genuinely can't remember. I was old enough to be playing on the big kids playground. I guess, kinda. Well, you know what? Maybe not, cause let's just go. I was on the big kids playground with my sister. My mom and dad had brought us to the school playground for the day, and we were just playing outside, having a great time. The weather was really nice. And we got on this zip line sort of contraption, I'm going to call it, because it really isn't a toy. You basically hold on to a handle and you zip down. You step off and you zip down, and at the end it kind of you got to hold on or you got to let go and jump. And well, I made the wrong decision because I was very small, so I wasn't necessarily able to reach the handle. So I had to be lifted up to reach the handle. So my sister picked me up, and I, gripped that handle for dear life. And then she pushed me, but she pushed me with the strength of a grown man. And when I reached the end of it, I flung off. Either my hands were sweaty or I think she pushed me and she meant to kill me because I swung off the end of it. And the way I flung off of it, I landed directly on my side, directly on my side, hard on the ground. And it knocked the wind out of me. And that was the scariest moment of my life because I could not breathe. I remember it hurting my lungs, and I couldn't breathe in, and I couldn't stand up all the way. So I tried to stand up, but I was hunched over. I was hunched over because I literally couldn't extend. And that's the last thing I remember. I was trying to walk to my parents, and then I woke up on the ground, facing the sun. And I remember, I thought I was dying because they had me on the ground facing the sun. I was laying on my back. So when I woke up, the sun was directly in my face, and I was like, is this it? Am I here? But no, I woke up on the ground. There was an ambulance there. This older lady nearby had been like, do you need me to call an ambulance? Yes, ma'am, please. So yeah, they showed up, but I was fine. They didn't take me anywhere. I woke up and everything was fine. I just kind of passed out for a second and needed to get my breath back in my chest. But yeah, scary story, but kind of a funny story because afterwards we went to get ice cream and yeah, almost died. My sister tried to kill me. And I remember feeling so bad about it happening because seeing her crying, she was, oh my God, sobbing for her life because she thought she had killed me. And I remember seeing her face and being like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm just trying to make her feel better. So anyways, okay, moving on. I have a little bit of a script going so I can keep myself on track because it's obviously working. Let's see. I moved around 11 or 12. I can't remember. I was in 6th grade. I moved to a new city, new county, and it kind of reset everything. After, I think, 3 or 4 months into 6th grade year, I moved to another county. It was about 35, 40 minutes away from, where I grew up. But I had been to the city but didn't know my way around the city, so but it was a city, so I was kind of excited because we were closer to everything. And I went to a new middle school, and that was hell. Oh my God. I almost didn't make it out of there. I had to start all over. But also, I kind of skipped over a little thing. We moved my hometown. Oh, no. What am I trying to say? My childhood home. Jesus. My childhood home is built right on the county line or right over the county line. So during elementary school, during kindergarten, I think, I went to one county. And then for 1st through 5th grade, I went to another county. And then in 6th grade, start of 6th grade year, I went back to the first county that I had been going to in kindergarten. And that was already weird because I didn't know anybody. I hadn't seen any of those kids since kindergarten. So then 3 or 4 months into 6th grade year, I switched to another county, the new county. This one being 35, 40 minutes away. So I also didn't know anyone there. And I remember it being very scary. I remember my first day of 6th grade year, they took me I like didn't go in when school started. I went in after it started, and we met the principal and said hi, and they walked us around the school a little bit, and they took us to our first period classes and said, "Okay, this is where we drop you off at." And I remember going to my locker because the teacher, before I went in, he came out and was like, "Hi, I'm the teacher. Here's your locker. You know, if you want to go put your stuff in it, you can." And so I did, and I remember what I was wearing. I'm wearing the Band Perry. If you know who the Band Perry is, good for you. We're on the same wavelength here. I was wearing a black The Band Perry t-shirt, white jeans, not even jeans. I think they were white capris. I don't think they were fully jeans. And my t-shirt was tied with like a rubber band because that was the thing to do at the time. And I was wearing Converses. It was just so scary. It was so scary because I walked into the class and they were like watching something. So I like walked in while they were watching something, and everybody just kind of turned and looked at me, and it was very, very scary. Yeah, I vividly remember that day. Nothing really went bad, but I vividly remember that for some reason. Yeah, moving on. In seventh grade, I was bullied to a point that I was almost homeschooled. Let me kind of break it down a little bit. I don't even remember a lot of what was going on or what it was, but it was another kid and her boyfriend that I like can't very much remember what exactly they would do, but it would very much upset me, and I would get upset to a point that I just wanted to leave. I just didn't want to be there. So I would call my mom, and I would like, bawl and be like, I don't want to be here. I can't be here. And I remember like at one point being threatened about something, and they were like, if we see you, something, something. And it came to a point that my mom went to the principal and said, if you don't do something, I will yank her out and homeschool her. And so the principal, I don't even remember what happened. I think like I ended up switching classes completely, so I didn't even have to see her. Of course, I would see her in the hallway, but I would never see her in class. And so that kind of helped things a little bit, if I remember correctly. I didn't end up being homeschooled. I did end up becoming best friends with the principal, though. Mr. Lewis? Was that his name? Shout out Mr. Lewis. I think that was his name. Oh, no. He was bald? I don't remember. He was really nice. He checked on me and my sister quite often because I think he was concerned about us coming in from new, because we were the new kids. Like, most of these kids are coming from the elementary schools and like meeting, like, like have known each other for a while. Anyways, yeah, and I remember very vividly. I think 7th and 8th grade, I would my mom would drop us off, and I would go to the bathroom and I would cry, and I would be like, I don't want to be here. I really don't want to be here. And I would call my mom and I'd be like, can you please come back? Like, I know you're not very far. I know you didn't get very far. It's been like 5 minutes. Can you please just come back? There was maybe once or twice she did, but it got to a point where, of course, she was like, no, I'm not coming back. She told me to like go to the principal's office, or I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember I did figure out that because the period before class, we would all sit in the gym. And I didn't want to do that because literally everyone and their mom was there. I didn't have people to sit with. I didn't want to sit with everyone. Like, it gave me a lot of anxiety. So I would go to the bathroom and I would cry and be like, I don't know where to sit. I don't know where to go. Like, I don't want to be here. And then I figured out that the library was open. Yeah. Usually the doors back to the classrooms were locked, or at least like staffed with somebody telling you can't go back there. But the doors to the library, you could absolutely get in. And if you wanted to, you could sit and read in the library before class started. So that's absolutely what I started doing. I started going to the library before class, and I wouldn't see anybody before class. And that actually was such a big help, because I remember just being like, from then on, I didn't end up making friends in 8th grade. But from then on, like if I was having a particularly hard day, if I just didn't want to talk to anyone, if I felt bad that morning, I would just go to the library and sit and read or sit and do anything else other than having to sit in a gym full of kids that are all screaming at 7 o'clock in the morning, you know? Anyways, what is next? High school. High school. I moved twice in high school. Once, I want to say, oh no. I have such a bad memory, dude. When was the first time I moved? Because I moved from there? I'm not going to say them out loud. Yeah, I'm not going to dox myself. I moved from there to there. There to there. But when was that? I don't know. I probably, like, oh, I don't know. Now I want to say I moved 3 times in high school. I moved either 2 or 3 times in high school. I could not tell you. I cannot remember. But yeah, high school, I don't remember very much freshman, sophomore year. I was an awkward kid. I didn't have a lot of friends, but friends I did have were band friends, because I was in band, I was one of the cool kids. Band kid, yeah. Saxophone. I graduated with my associate's degree and my high school diploma at the same time. My junior and senior year, I ended up doing a dual college credit program where I ended up using college credits to get my diploma, and I also used them to get a college degree. So my junior and senior year, instead of being on a high school campus, I would be at the college campus doing college classes, and I got credits for doing both, for doing, college level work. So yeah, I ended up getting my associates and my high school diploma at the same time. I graduated with them about a week apart from each other. Was it hard? Yeah, yes and no. At the time it was like I was just advancing to the next level, I was like this I'm becoming a higher version of myself. Let's go. Let's go. I'm doing the damn thing. But it was a lot of dedication and like learning to control myself and being able to like get myself to go to campus and to do the extra work and to do the extra papers, because I was also a scholar. I was like a Hager scholar. I got a scholarship, and therefore it made me a Hager scholar. And to do that, I had to do extra, I had to do extra work. I had to do extra essays, extra papers, extra research. Yeah, it was just a lot of discipline. It's a lot of discipline and a lot of dedication, and just knowing what you're going to get in the end is going to be worth it. Yeah, I do have my associate's degree. I'm proud of it. I'm very proud of it. And then let's see. After that, I went to university. I shipped myself off like an hour and 45 minutes away to another city. I lived in a dorm room. It was the whole college experience, I moved into a dorm room on the like 27th floor or 17th floor or something like that. It was like a tower. They called it a tower. I'm not going to name it cuz it was literally something something tower. So like I was on the 17th floor, I want to say 17th or 18th floor. I can't remember. But yeah, it was very weird. My roommate didn't show up the first time around. I was supposed to have a random person as a roommate, because I didn't have a friend going with me to this university, at least not a friend of the same sex, because I was going into an all-girls dorm. Yeah, I was assigned a random roommate, but she ended up not showing. She might have like changed her roommate if she could, do it later on in the process, but I ended up not having a roommate, so I just had a lot of extra space. But things went south because I ended up calling my mother and crying and begging to come home like 3 or 4 months into my first year at a university. Yeah, she was like, "Yes, babe, come on home. It's okay," because she missed me. It was like, I was their last kid, so it was an empty nest, and I definitely think she missed me. So she was just like, "You know what? Come home. It's okay." So I came home, and then I ended up trying to go back a second time, which is my mistake. I messed up there. But I tried to go back a second time the next semester, and they ended up splitting my degree. The degree I was going for was going to be for a bachelor in film production, and in order to get the original degree that I wanted, I would have had to stay an extra year, I think, because I could either do that or I could downgrade the degree and only do film study. It wouldn't be film production, it would be film study. So I wouldn't get to do the hands-on camera tech stuff. I wouldn't be able to do the student films. So I ended up choosing just to go home. I didn't want to do it, so I just went home. Although here, I met my best friend the first time around. I was introduced to my BFF to this day at this university. My first time around, I was introduced through a friend. My other friend had met this person, had met my bestie, and had been like, hey, do you want to meet somebody I met? And I was like, yeah, I bet. And I met my best friend, Rylan. Hi, Rylan. If you're listening to this, thank you. Miss you, love you. Met Rylan, and yeah, I'm so thankful for that. That the other friend is no longer really in my life, but I'm glad I got to meet Rylan through them because, my bestie for the we talk on a daily basis now. And it's been years. It's just crazy to me. We were even roommates my second time around. When I went back the second time, we were roommates. But yeah, anyways, moving on. I came home the second time around and got a job at a nondescript coffee location. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Funny story. I actually started this nondescript coffee location job a week before COVID ended up shutting down our state. So I did 1 week of training and then left for like a month and then came back for the second week of training. So yeah, that was pretty great. I remember the mask being mandated when we came back and it was like a whole big old fucking deal. But the good old days, back when we didn't have to worry about other things. Let's see. I spent about almost 6 years there. And then during my time there, I moved, not me counting on my fingers, moved from my parents to being alone, to being with my mother, to being alone again, to being with a partner. By the time I had quit, that's how many times I had moved. And you know what? I'm going to tell a shitty little story about this little nondescript coffee location because it's not the coffee job that was in my way. Let me just tell you the story. Okay, so I had been working this coffee job, this little barista job, for maybe 3-4 months at the time, 5 months. It hadn't been very long. And I, at the time, had not been diagnosed with any sort of autoimmune disorder or any sort of deficiency. So I had, been at work. I was like maybe 19 and I was feeling like absolute death, bro. Absolute death. I thought I had some sort of like the flu, I was hot, I was clammy, I was so weak I could barely stand up. I was crying because I felt so horrible. And I remember calling my doctor and I stepped away from my work at work and I called my doctor and I was like, hey, something is not right. I was like, I can't do anything. I explained it to her what was going on. I was like, I can't function. I was like, I don't understand what's going on, but there's something wrong. And she was like, okay. And she didn't actually answer me. I think I left her a voicemail and she ended up leaving me a voicemail back. Because she called me back and I wasn't able to answer it. And I think she ended up leaving me a voicemail back. And she said, if you can come in today, we have a spot. We have time for you to walk in today if you need to. And so I went to my boss at the time. Not going to name drop them. I went to my boss at the time and I was like, it wasn't even my boss. It was like my boss's sidekick. Because, there's different tiers of authority at any job. So it wasn't like my boss, it was like my other boss, And so I went to her and I was like, hey, bub, I think I'm going to pass away. I was like, something is wrong and my doctor can get me in right now, but I would have to leave. I told her, I was like, I can leave and come straight back. My doctor is right up the road. She's like 5 minutes up the road. I will be right back. Like, please just let me go. And you know what they said? They said, no, we're having some sort of like a flash deal from like 12 to 3, and you can't be gone during that time. So, no, you can't go. Excuse me? Excuse me? I have never wanted to like rip somebody's hair out, but my God, that was like, I ended up having to call my doctor and be like, I can't come. Like, she won't let me leave. And I ended up having to go in like at a later time. But, yeah, I still do not forgive them for that, because you know what came of it? I have an autoimmune disorder. That's why I was feeling so bad. There's actually something very wrong, and they ended up finding it and fixing it. But no thanks to that boss. Anyways, continuing on. I quit this coffee job about August of last year, I want to say. The last probably year and a half before I quit, I ended up finding a partner. I ended up having a partner, and I experienced maybe not my first heartbreak, but like my first adult heartbreak, especially like romantic heartbreak. I didn't have a lot of relationships in high school, so finding someone and having a person felt really nice. And so when it didn't work out, it was really shitty. It really sucked. I won't say much about my partner or the relationship, but I will say it taught me a lot of confidence. It brought me out of my shell a little bit, and I learned some important lessons about self-respect and knowing when to walk away from something that's not healthy for you or the other person. Which brings us to today. What am I doing right now? What kind of person am I? What am I into? What do I like? What do I do for fun? Okay, well, I split this section into 3 sections: interest, hobbies, and fun facts. I'll try to get this pretty quick. So let's get started. Let's start with interest. What am I interested in? What do I like? What grabs my attention? All kinds of media. So movies, books, pictures, art, music, like anything that you can produce and have some sort of like fun with it, Music especially. I like to think I have an eclectic taste, but honestly, my entire Spotify is either like emo rock /rap/pop or EDM. Like, anyways, I also really like raving. Raving might also be a hobby though, because I've seen several sets. If you like EDM music, you might know who I'm talking about. I've seen Knock 2, Alley Cat, Crank That, Subtronics, Wooly, and a few other smaller, like Super Rav or Super Rave. I don't know, he pronounced it, I think he was saying Super Rav on stage, but I really can't tell you. Like a few other small artists that were openers for these bigger artists. I really want to go to a camping festival like Lost Lands or Base Canyon. That would be really fun. I have a tent. Like, I bought a whole tent, a 6-person tent. So like, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. Somebody buy me tickets to Lost Lands. That would be very, very appreciated. Anyways, I also one of my like interests right now is like being a nail tech. I would really love to become a nail tech, but it costs a lot of money. Not a lot. It's like $7,000 for the entire kit, for like the entire course, including tuition, like enrollment fees, your books, your supplies, everything that you need. The entire cost was like $7,000 for one of the closest schools that I found. But yeah, it's still $7,000 out of pocket, because you know what? Federal student aid doesn't cover programs, like smaller programs, like 450-hour programs. They have to be full courses, full like... So yeah, that's really shitty, I think. Yeah, so I haven't done it just yet. I haven't gotten started, on it just yet, but I'm hoping to eventually like make it a little side hobby. Make it a little side thing where I can make a little extra money if I can learn how to do it. But that takes me on to the next section, hobbies. I really like photography, like specifically nature or people photography. My camera roll is full of pictures of the trails around town and like these little spots that I've been to with friends, these little nature spots, like hiking spots. And I even did my best friend's wedding photos. I took their wedding pictures, and were they professional grade? Not really, but we had a great time. And I think the pictures I took were still pretty good. They could probably be edited and maybe have put a few filters on them, and they would look a little bit better, but I never really got the time to edit them. Things just kind of went downhill from there, you know? Yeah, that wedding was a lot of fun. Anyways, candy. Again, back to raving. If you don't know what candy is, it's candy with a K and an I, so Kandi. Candy are basically bracelets. Not just bracelets, it's like you can make cuffs, like full cuffs out of these pony beads, which they are bracelets made out of pony beads and like elastic strings, so it's not super hard to do, but you can be so creative with it and you can do so many designs and basically put whatever you want on it. So yeah, making candy is very fun. I have a whole bag of like trinkets to give out also, because giving out like trinkets and stuff like that is a thing at EDM festivals and sets like that. But next I have my blog and my vlog, except it's pretty dead at the moment. I find it very hard to vlog because I don't find my life very interesting, which maybe is like the point. Maybe I should make my life more interesting, like I should have more fun, but it's just hard and expensive and very time consuming. But I do eventually plan to like do something with it.
You know,
Anyways, my kitties, my babies, what you've probably been hearing in the background this whole time. My cats. I love my babies. They are a part of my heart, honestly, a part of my soul. I care for each and every one of them. I have 3. I love all 3 of them, like deeply, and I've gotten all 3 of them collars engraved with their name and my phone number, and I've done everything I can to like keep them safe and healthy, and they're just the love of my life sometimes. So like, yeah, I'm gonna put them in my hobby list. Protesting, especially now, has become a hobby of mine. I have been going out to local protests regarding what is going on in America right now, which I'm not gonna get into right now, but I've been to a lot of protests. I am actually making some candy to hand out at the next protest because I honestly have a lot of pony beads and I haven't had anything to do recently. So I wanted to make some bracelets, and I just, so I have been trying to make some bracelets. Thrifting. I love thrifting. Most of my like wardrobe and probably things in my place are thrifted. Most of my furniture, I love the feeling you get when you find like a piece and you're just like, yes, I know exactly where to put that and why I need it. Like, please, somebody give me some money. No. I love thrifting. I love especially finding new little shops. I just recently actually found, not recently, it was probably like sometime last year, I figured out about this shop here in town that I had never heard of but had probably passed by so often. And I went in there, and it is the cutest little place I have ever seen. It's not really cheap. It's not really for those who don't have money to waste, but it's a really cute little shop. Next, concerts. I have been to so many concerts. I'm gonna list them off. I have been to Grandson. If you know who Grandson is, good on you. You should. I've seen Grandson twice, actually. He opened for Bring Me the Horizon, who I also saw, and then I saw Grandson on his own again. I've seen Haley Kiyoko, who's actually directing a movie about her new song. Not a new song, it's an older song. Girls Like Girls. If you haven't seen it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go to Haley Kiyoko's Instagram and like look at it because it looks so cute and you should probably watch it. I've seen Max, who is, I don't know if you know, the Disney Channel movie Rags. If you've seen the Disney Channel movie Rags, he was the main character in that. He's got a really nice voice. I love his music, and me and my sister went and saw him probably when I was like 17. I saw Nothing Nowhere, who is one of my all-time top artists, favorite artists of all time. I cannot stress it. Nothing Nowhere I have seen live. That was really fun. I've seen Knock 2, Subtronics, Crank That, Alley Cat, which are all EDM artists. I've been to Emo Night, which is kind of like just a big old concert where they play a bunch of emo night music and like older scene, like, older like emo music. You know what I'm talking about? Like Mayday Parade and My Chemical Romance and Panic at the Disco and that kind of thing. That kind of thing. I've also seen Breakins, who I adore as an artist, honestly. If you've never heard of Breakins, I don't even know how to describe his music, if it's hyper pop, if it's like melodic, I don't know, but he produces the most unique music I've ever heard, and I love it dearly. And I've also seen Sing Queen, who she does like bimbo core kind of hot pink sexy, but like I'll also slit your throat music, hot girl shit. You know what I'm talking about? Love her music. Love her. She's hot. I don't know if you've seen her, but when I saw her in concert, she's built. Like when people go on stage and have to jump around and sing for so long, like they get built. Like they look good, and she looked really good. Anyways, I also really like hiking or walking. I don't really like hiking, okay? I'm not gonna say that. I don't enjoy like having a hiking stick and having to walk like vertically. I do enjoy going out and just like walking around if there's like a little paved trail or if there's just a little gravel trail. Like I'd love to go just, walking. Somebody just go walk with me. Let's go outside. It's really nice. But yeah, last section, fun facts. I'll try to get through this pretty quick. I've only ever broken one bone, which is a toe, which I only did that because I was running away from my nephew. I was running up the stairs and he was chasing me. Okay, long story short, there's a baby gate right at the bottom of the stairs because he's too young to be climbing up the stairs. And so when he sees somebody walking away from him up the stairs, he gets really upset because he wants to go with you. And so I heard him coming down the hallway, and I knew if he saw me on the stairs behind the baby gate going upstairs, he was going to get upset. So I busted ass, hauled myself upstairs before he could make it down the hallway. But in the process, I like absolutely shoved my entire pinky toe on my right foot into the door frame. And I remember I rolled, like I fucking body rolled, and I was like, oh my god, my toe! No, I really thought my toe was gonna fall off. It turned purple. It was so scary. I went and had an x-ray done, and it turns out I'd like fractured it. It was a whole thing. I went to be a DJ. Soundboards are really expensive though. Those little boards that they push the buttons on and they play the music and make the sounds and stuff. Those things are really expensive. You can get pretty cheap ones, but if I'm gonna buy one, I want to be able to get a good one. I want to have it for a while. I can play ukulele and saxophone. I was in band, as I mentioned, so I played alto sax, and I also learned a little bit of ukulele back in middle school, high school. I don't exactly know how to play it, but I can play a few songs. I have over 30 plus tattoos. I'm not gonna count them. I'm not going to count them because I don't even know how to count them. I've never had a tattoo last more than one session. Like I've never had to go back, but I also got multiple tattoos in more than one session. I got like in one session, I had like 2 or 3 tattoos at one time. So I don't even know how to count it. But yeah, I do know I have over 30 plus individual tattoos on my body. I draw, oh my God, is it mandalas or mandalas? I think they're mandalas. They're like little patterns, little circular patterns, or like sometimes I don't draw things, I draw patterns because it's a lot easier to do patterns than things. So when I draw, I often draw like melting smiley faces, or I'll draw like an eyeball melting, or like I'll draw, this is going to be a podcast, so I wish I could like throw up pictures for you all, but I draw patterns. I don't draw things, so don't ask me to draw you because I can't. Anyways, I love butterflies. I have them on my body and my walls. I have literal butterflies hanging on my wall. I would get up and like tell you the species, but I don't care enough to do that. But I have butterflies. I have butterflies on my left arm, my left hand, my back. Yeah, I love butterflies. And then I'll end the episode with this last thing, last fun fact, last thing I want to say and make clear before I end this, and maybe then now try to figure out what I need to do from here as far as making this a podcast or trying to keep up with it. I want to get this clear. I want to make this straight.
Warning.
I am pro-Palestine, pro LGBTQ, pro choice, and can I just say, fuck ICE and fuck Trump. All right. Got that out of my system. Just had to get that out there and online as well. But yeah, thanks for joining me. I don't know when I will be posting next or what I will be posting next, but I will be posting again. So make sure you follow and do whatever you need to do to be updated about the next time I post, which will probably be linked somewhere. However you're watching this, it will be linked somewhere. So find it. But yeah, love you. Kisses. Bye.